When you're younger, if a friendship ends, there's usually a big argument or an obvious fallout. But after 50, something weirder and far more painful happens. Either someone you've known for years vanishes into thin air with zero explanation, or you finally set a simple, reasonable boundary and they treat you like you're the villain. Today, we need to talk about midlife ghosting, adult entitlement, and this behavior is just not cool. Anyway, I found that there's basically two scenarios to this, and you could find yourself on either side at any time. The first scenario, the whole ghosting used, kind of the ghosting reality. Ghosting used to be something people would associate with, young couples or dating couples or teenagers, or where you were the one not invited to the party. Now, grown adults in their 50s, 60s, and beyond who are doing this to 10, 20, 30-year long friendships. The disrespect you don't see is you didn't even have an argument. Nobody appeared to have crossed a line. There were no talks on issues in the relationship. Just nothing. You send a message and it goes off into the abyss. Nothing ever comes back. Send another message. And again, no response. Or if you do get a response, it's often a one word or short phrase that's unlike their normal character, feels really cold, and then finally nothing will come back. The mind game is a little confusing. You're left replaying history, wondering if something happened or if they're okay. Just all of a sudden no response. Wondering, are they hurt? Are they injured? At our age, it's getting a little scary. Meanwhile, they are just kind of treating your long-term connection like, the canceled subscription of Netflix from last month. Kind of deprives you of those basic adult closures that you need in the mature level that you're at. Then there's the second scenario, the user, how the long-term friendships can kind of quietly morph into a one-sided arrangement. This happened to me. It took me several years before I had to make my choice. I had a longtime friend who constantly relied on me for things, which was fine. I didn't mind, but over time, she started repeatedly crossing boundaries. I tried to have a heart-to-heart, but then again, as time passed after that, it slowly reverted back to how it was, and I would subliminally or, politely kind of say things as, they would arise about, remember how we talked about that, reminding her how those things made me feel. And it got to a point where it's like she was just not understanding me anymore, or she was just choosing not to understand. So a couple years ago, it was getting close to the time of year where she would go out of town to visit her family, and she would typically be gone for anywhere from a month to 6 weeks, and she would ask me to watch her 2 indoor cats every single day for however long she was going to be gone. I never really got offered any kind of payment or compensation. Maybe a little lunch date when she would get back and she would tell me about her trip. And it started to feel kind of more like I was just there to do these things for her. I would get, a thank you, of course, and a genuine, you know, a genuine thank you, I guess you would say. Um, but it was still hard for me because to make matters worse, she would call people while she'd be on vacation, and she would need somebody to run an errand for her because I had a full-time job and couldn't just jump and run and do a lot of things sometimes. So she would call someone else, another friend or someone, and ask them to run an errand and ask them if they were available, if they could stop by and take care of the cats, which was great, except for she never bothered to let me know. So I would show up to take care of them, sometimes going out of my way, and they would already have been taken care of. So one year I was going to be going on vacation myself during the final week before she got back. So there was a week span that was not going to be taken care of. So we made other arrangements for another person to fill in and finish out that last week of her vacation. All I heard back when we got back together to share our vacation stories was how everything was a mess when she got home. Her plants were all dead. The other person didn't water, I guess. I don't know if they knew they were supposed to or if she told them. I'm not sure. I left a list of things that I would do while I was there. But she also said the litter box was full. The thing that got me, though, was her tone and her demeanor kind of heavily implied somehow this was my fault for not being able to be there for her. And the kicker, this is what really kind of pushed it over the edge, was that other person who was there for a week got paid to be there. Got paid for what they were doing, and just kind of made me feel a little way. Anyway, when I finally confronted her again and told her about how it made me felt, she got extremely defensive, and we talked, and I thought she could understand, but it ended up ending at that point and not being able to be worked out. So I just kind of quit talking to her. So why people act this way when someone gets used to unlimited access, they get used to that where they can just call anytime and your kindness and that you won't set that boundary. But when you do set the boundary, then they get upset. Like it's a defensive thing, and I'm not exactly sure how it gets taken, but people get really defensive. So whether someone's ghosting you out of nowhere with no conversation, or they kind of fade away because you stop letting them use you, the silence tells you everything you need to know. Tells you everything you need to know about where they are in life and where their character is within your relationship. Doesn't mean they're a bad person. Just means that it's possible that that relationship has outgrown its time. It still hurts. We think we'll have some of these friends, excuse me, till the end, but it doesn't always work out that way. So that's something new, learning in my 50s how to navigate. And so actually, guys, sorry, I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Christy. If you're new here, thank you. If you're coming back, happy to have you. On this channel, we talk about real life. We talk about the good, the bad, and the unexpected. Today, we're talking about those friendships that you never thought would end are disappearing for one reason or another. So, get you down in here a little bit. Anyway, you guys, I'm so thankful that you were here today, and I would love to hear what you think about all this. Has this been happening to you? Is this something you've felt over these years of growing and changing as the person that you grow and change into? Are your friends still with you? Have they fallen off, or they're just kind of silently in the background? I have a lot of friends who are still silently in the background, and I have every intention of always being their friend, so I hope that they feel the same way. But anyway, yeah, so I'd love to hear your stories. If you'd like to share, please leave a comment down below. And if you guys have ever thought or have entertained the idea of creating a YouTube channel of your own, I have some really great coaches over at SKOOL, SKOOL, Common Sense Methods with Kevin and his wife Michelle. Wonderful people, great coaches, have been very successful with YouTube and have given me a lot of help in communicating with you and putting up these videos so that we can have these discussions. Anyway, you guys, thank you again for being here today. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.